Right. Then we're looking at the pedagogical creativity, and I focused more on Diana Lodridge's conversational model when using this, when I wanted to discuss this teaching approach. So the first thing was basically learning through acquisition. Now, this is more teacher-centered, where we include narratives of presentations, we use the textbooks, we show them videos, then there's podcasts, and then the web resources that they use are basically at home. For example, if they're given a research project, then they basically going to research the information at home. Then the next is learning through inquiry. So when we use the learning through inquiry pedagogical, pedagog, I don't pronounce that word properly, my apologies. The students work on their own, and or sometimes they work together as a team to develop their own ideas. And the teacher basically serves as a guide in helping them understand their topic. And the technologies that they're going to use is basically online resources, a digital library, websites, and the use of search engines. But at my school, this doesn't happen. What happens is that when the learners work in a group, for example, if they have to plan, let's say, for example, they're given in a topic in life skills where they have to do a group project on the different South African flags or and emblems and stuff like that. So if they work in a group, so each group would have to focus on the flags, the emblems, and stuff. But they don't have the technology and the web base and the resources to use online at school. So what basically happens is that they do the research at home, then they bring it to school, and then they will sit in their team, and then they will develop their ideas in putting that project together where they have to create a poster, for example. Then we have learning through discussion. So they focus basically on conceptual development. The students express, argue, defend, reconsider ideas. And it requires is basically a skilled teacher to facilitate this discussion. And the technologies used are basically online conferences, forums, chat rooms, and social networking systems. Now, at my school, the discussion only entails that when we have a lesson or we're going to start to deliver a lesson, we basically assess learners' prior knowledge through discussion. So when we want to introduce a topic, we ask them, what do you know about this topic? And then from there, we basically fill in the gaps and we build on that the knowledge from what they know their existent knowledge is. Due to time frames at our school, we basically have 30 minutes lessons, not one, and only sometimes we have a 1 hour lesson. And the 30 minutes lessons is quite problematic in the sense that the time frame to for learners to express, defend, and argue and reconsider ideas is quite limited. They're not for a lesson to occur, the time frame for that to happen, I think, is it's not idealistic, because like in a 1 hour lesson, you can basically teach, you can have a discussion, learners can talk to each other, share their ideas, and then they can do a mind map on the board. I mean, this is an ID lesson, 1 hour lesson. You do a mind map on the board for learners to copy down the information, just the key points. So when they're studying it, it facilitates recall. And you can actually show videos as well to cater for the different diverse groups because some people learn visually. And then you can do exercises where they can answer questions, just short exercises and build their ability to answer test-like questions. And you can quite successfully do all of that in a 1 hour lesson. But we given 30 minutes, so it's a little bit difficult. Then we have learning through practice. So students use their knowledge, their skills, and their attitudes to solve a task. The students learn through basically modeling con or constructionism or experimental learning. And intrinsic and extrinsic feedback is quite important. Now, technology is basically used adaptive tutoring programs, role play, simulation games, and immerse environments. So our school basically doesn't use these technologies at the moment. So learning through practice is basically at hands-on learning where students basically do projects where they have to construct something, or when they're doing something in natural sciences and they're given an experiment and then they given that hands-on experience, that practice. What I like to do is I like to do peer learning. So I pair fast learners with slow learners up together, and I ask the fast learners, I speak to them privately and I tell them, look, this child's having a little bit difficulty. This is their problem, because I'm only one overlooking 30 students. So why don't you serve as a role model, so they can model what you are doing? Because at that age they pick up the hand and they say, oh ma'am, the student is copying me and stuff. Now I tell them, it's not really copying, it's modeling. So this also builds leadership skills in a learner. When I explain to them, I call them individually and I explain to them, and they're quite happy to help the learners with barriers, and it builds a sense of belonging in the class where everybody knows that they're all equal, and like slow learners can help them with the sports and then the fast learners can help them with the academics. So that's how I explain it to them and they're quite happy to do that. Then we have basically learning through collaboration, which is what I basically just explained in the practice part. So where basically it's also linked together. Right. So now when we're going to look at technology, we're looking at the pedagogical knowledge, the creativity and technology in education, the domains of exploration, and the complex integration. Now, when we're looking at technology and the pedagogical knowledge, it refers to how technology can change the way content is taught, and the pedagogical techniques that uses technologies to teach content constructively. So we basically look at the teaching approaches that we're going to use and how we're going to incorporate technology into this teaching approach, to put it more simply. Then creativity and technology in education is basically oh, I didn't. Let's look at the domains of exploration. So basically, it's learning to be creative, how to use technology to enhance or create a learning experience. Then we need to understand the meaning of creativity and to understand that there is diversity, and we need to think out of the box and be more creative. Then the discourses surrounding creativity is exploring how creativity is discussed and basically how it is framed. And then last in one of the domains of exploration is the impact of creativity. So we need to look at the implications of technology fostering creativity. And then the creativity of technology in education basically uses um, how technology is used creatively to reshape how we think, how we work, and how we create knowledge. Like, for example, last year I was teaching a grade 5 class, and normally I teach grade 6s and grade 7s. So it was a little bit going to an age group that I wasn't quite familiar with. So now in a grade 6 class, I would just put on a YouTube video and that relates to their specific age group, and the lesson would just flow. And then when I tried that in a grade 5 class, when I sourced a nice grade 5 video and I put in, like, for example, I put in addition or subtraction, and they listened, but I found that when their concentration span was a little bit limited. But then I found this one video where it had this teacher that was a little bit goofy, goofy in the sense that he was like a little bit playful. And the kids at that age went off the roof. They loved him. So every time I put a video, they said, "Man, put the goofy man, put the goofy man," because they related to, because of the age group, they related to him, and they learned better using watching that video. And then we had complex integration, that is using technology as a pedagogical tool to cultivate creative thinking. So educators basically must foster creativity effectively and integrate the individual, the contextual factors, and the materials all together. So basically, what technology in education, teaching technology with um, te how do I say this? I know it's with technology, or teaching with technology. So basically what that means is that you need to look at your contextual factors. You need to look at the learners and their ability to learn. And you need to plan strategically how you could incorporate them and make them want to learn. So one of the things I did is that I saw that the learners learned the information. Like, there's three types of memories. You have the sensory memory, the short-term memory, and the long-term memory. So what you taught in class, if the lesson wasn't invigorating, or if it wasn't um, uh, uh, stimulating enough for learners to recall it for a long time, they tend to forget information. And not only, all lessons can't be funny all the time. And then also, the other contextual factor is that CAP's syllabus is quite prescriptive. That means that one week you are doing something and the next week you're doing something else. So now, because of the constant flow of information that they have, not only in one subject but all the different subjects, they information is stored short term. So what I did is to create information and for them to learn it and put it into their long-term store. I created a YouTube channel where you can see I did quite a few videos relating to what I teach. And if you copy and paste some of these links, you can actually look at my videos that I have on. And what happens is that, especially during exam times, so these learners go home after, even before exam, they go home after I teach the subject, and then they watch the video. So by them having this facility at their home, they can review the information taught in class at their leisure while they are relaxed, and they don't have the distractions of other learners in the class, and they can understand the concept. Also, during exam times, it helps them to um, recap on the information that was taught, and they thanked me for this, so they actually quite grateful. So most of the information that I sourced was from Moving Beyond the Hype, a contextual view of learning with technology in higher education, and this book was by the Universities of South Africa in 2015. Thank you.